Hi, it's David here at Spite-Filled Clothing, just dropping another video that will hopefully be informational, educational, and maybe even a little bit inspirational. It's been a while since I've dropped a video here on YouTube, and if you are a follower of Spite, you might have noticed that we've been kind of on a hiatus. I won't offer an apology. I actually love working for this cooperative. You know, Gabe, Brandon, and myself have just been really busy with family things, with work issues, just with life things going on. And a part of being a co-op is that we can make a collective decision to just step back for a sec. And that's what we've been doing. We've also had a chance to just kind of look at the future and see where we're going for the end of the year and the beginning of 2023. So let me just warn you right now, this is going to be the first of 3 videos that I'm going to share. First of all, just talking about who we are as Spite, how we began. The second video, we'll talk a little bit more about why we operate as a cooperative and how that is so much more than just selling t-shirts. And then the third video is going to talk a little bit more about the direction that we're heading in, again, ending 2022 and moving into 2023. So let me give you a little bit of Spite's history. It was September 2021 when my good friend Gabe gave me a call and said, hey, I have this crazy idea. I just got off the phone with my friend Brandon, and I want to include you in this next phase of a movement that I want to do. And I said, you know, I've known Gabe for almost 30 years. Started out as an acquaintance, and then we just became really good friends in our early 20s. Regardless, I was all ears. And Gabe presented me this idea of starting a clothing company that would use images and statements to really provoke thought and garner conversation. And as we began to talk, we talked about how starting this sort of thing could become more than just t-shirts. We could do digital media, zines, all kinds of stuff through the internet and social media. And so it just started to grow. And so moving forward, we just started to come up with all these t-shirt ideas. Me, Brandon, and Gabe just began to bounce ideas off each other. Some of our ideas were super childish and offensive, but some of the stuff started to stick. Now, before I go further, let me just tell you a little bit about how me, Brandon, and Gabe are connected in so many ways. We all grew up in the mid-90s, the mid to late 90s, in what I like to call the American evangelical wheel. So to truly understand this wheel, you have to understand the American evangelical wheel began to spin in the late 60s and early 70s when the Jesus movement really picked up and Maranatha music started, and people began to understand that you could market Jesus. Jesus and faith was a marketable entity. If you've ever seen Jesus Christ Superstar or heard the album, you could see even the general market in the early 70s was picking up on this idea. You phase into the 80s where televangelists can market Jesus through a whole new level. And you have the Reagan era where the separation between church and state really blurred, and politicians just began to use religion as a way to get your vote. That all pours into these 90s kids, and here we are, raised evangelical, but we are in this American evangelical wheel, and it is spinning fast. I'll just let you know, it spit all of us out in various directions, and we all ended up in very different spots. And so you have myself, professing Christian, you have Gabe, at best a card-carrying Satanist, and Brandon, who just doesn't care. And we just start thinking about how spite-filled we are. You might be like us, and if you are like us, then you understand that nature that we grew up in the mid-90s, mid to late 90s, where we were so involved in the American evangelical system. We were so influenced as to what to think and how to approach culture and fill ourselves, but still have to be Christians. And it became chaotic for a lot of us. And so now, in our early to mid 40s, we're all just confronting these thoughts. Why do we believe what we believe? Why do we think the way we think? Why is my faith supposed to be so imposed on by politics? Why do I think gays are going to hell? Do I have any credible scripture to say they are? And maybe you do, but we just want to create the conversation. Why do I believe it's okay to kill babies in other countries if I feel that they don't believe like I do, but I'm fighting so hard to save babies that are unwanted in my very neighborhood? These are things we're just trying to confront. These are things we're just trying to ask questions about. We're trying to provoke thought. How did spite begin? Spite began just to cause conversation. We want to provoke thought. Our slogan is think at all costs. Are we hateful? No. But we're definitely filled with a little bit of spite. Enough spite that might exist in you that says, why do I think the way I think? Maybe that's where we can begin a good conversation. Stay tuned for part 2.